Welcome to this LawNet webinar, Understanding Your Firm's Relationships Without Lifting a Finger. My name's Simon McNidder. I'm from Promptr. I've spent nearly 30 years in professional services CRM, whether that's in-house or as a consultant contractor, and now as a developer and supplier of a fully managed CRM system. I actually started my journey at PricewaterhouseCoopers when PW was merging with Coopers. And I went into the new head of marketing's office and said, look, we're on the merger, all our data, our database, our mail shots, our events, it's all duplicated. And from behind his desk, he pointed at me and said, you've got that job, Simon. And I thought, what a stupid thing to say. What do I want to do that for? He obviously knew me far better than I knew myself. I really love the big projects that come with CRM. Okay. From there, I joined Pinsent Masons, and I spent 15 years in there as their CRM manager, taking them through 5 mergers, installing a system, then another one as we developed over it, bringing everyone on board each time and coping with all the adoption issues and things like that and the data management. Okay, so from there, I left to be a consultant, a contractor, helping law firms with their CRM problems. And then after sort of lockdown, I developed an easier to use, fully managed CRM service with the software, the data updating and all that sort of stuff in. But I'm here to give you some hints and tips on your CRM systems, what to look out for, and how it can be made easier, okay, and how we can make it easier. Okay, so CRM systems are here to help you do a number of things. They allow you to understand the relationships that are going on with your firm and the contacts. They show you who knows who, what's happening to people, and how well they're known. It also allows you to more effectively communicate with your contacts, and you'll be especially you'll feel that if you've got 10 or 20 different mailing lists. Okay, so those are the general principles of what CRM can do for you. It's about how you actually get them to do it when it comes down to it after you've bought it. Now, what you're aiming for is some feedback like this. Now, this is real feedback. It's cut down just to actually be able to put it on the screen. So I'll read some of them out. It's the reason we won the client. So that was a couple of employment people from a client where they realized after an event that two of the lawyers were contacting 2 different people at the same organization. Okay. And then they worked out that this person's contact should be introduced to actually that lawyer. And they went across and they got the work. Okay. That's the benefit of these systems. And they said they would never have known it without the system. Exactly the same second sort of comment. Short of complete potluck, I wouldn't have had, and it was about knowledge about somebody that they were about to meet. Okay, a nice one. Client impressed with my knowledge of his bike ride. I've really cut that down. But that was a senior lawyer about to visit the chair of one of his clients to notice that in the system somebody else had met that person and had been on a charity bike ride. Now, what a fantastic conversation starter! Yeah, and then another one. It makes you look like you're on top of the detail when you visit a contact and you know what events they've booked onto or who knows them or what's been happening to them. It impresses the client with your knowledge, because then your firm looks like the left hand knows what the right hand's doing. You've got a one firm approach and things like that. Okay. But how often do you hear lawyers in the morning getting up and saying things like, I want to use a database today? It's very, very rare, isn't it? If at all. It's hard enough to get them to use the billing system or the time recording system, and that gets them paid at the end of the month. What you're more likely going to hear is things like, I'm not using our CRM system because my contacts aren't in it, or there are duplicates everywhere, or the data's out of date, or updating it isn't a 400 per hour job. This is all proper feedback. I'll just cut it down. I'm not using it because I don't know how to use it. It's too complex. I don't have the time, or nobody else is using it. Now, I'm going to come back at the end of the near the end of the webinar and just answer some of those questions with how we've got around it. Okay, but the best piece of feedback I've ever heard from a system is, I found the record, saw it was wrong, thought I should update it, but didn't. Now, you might be going, that's not going to happen at our place. But if you imagine this scenario, I'm looking at the database and I go, oh, no, that's wrong. No, carry on. It's very easy to do, and everybody does it. So you have to now work around, how do you get around that? Now, most CRMs are like owning a racing car. You need some huge skills to operate it, run it, maintain it, manage it. And also the users of the system need some high skills to actually utilize the system. Often they've got hundreds of buttons, screens all over the place. Now, they've been designed for marketing people in another industry, for sales and things like that. Because you can imagine how Nike or Adidas use a CRM system. It's very, very different to how law firms use it. Okay. And generally, what's happened is lawyers have been forced to use these sales databases from other industries. So we sat back, and generally, because I've been asked a number of times when I was a consultant before and we now do this software, to say, can you find me a really easy to use system, please? And frequently as well, I can find you one, but these are quite complex systems. You have to learn how to use them and all things like that. So what we did with Promptr is it acts like you've got your very own chauffeur. We completely look after it. It's a full hand-holding service. So our fully managed CRM service is a simplified piece of software that's in Outlook. We update and manage your data for you. It tracks your Outlook. So when your lawyers email contacts and they email back, the contacts are added into the system for them. So there's nobody going, oh, I'm not using this because the contacts aren't in it, and things like that. We do all the training, the onboarding, so we fully manage it. And of course, we also try and get adoption up with a variety of techniques, and I'll show you that later. Okay. And of course, BD and marketing might want a CRM system. So usually you'd buy it and then you have to work out what to do with it. Your IT hardly have any effort at all if you purchase Promptr, because we manage it all for you. We've designed it as a fully handheld, a fully managed service. Okay. Quick case study, just to give you an example. A law firm with about 70 users been using Promptr for about 6 months. Now they haven't got spreadsheets all over the place, whether it's event bookings or mail shop clicks or people's lists or people's contacts. Okay? It's all in one section, and they've just got a complete overview of a contact. So they can see who knows them, what's been happening with BD, what events they've booked onto, that sort of thing. With the Outlook tracker, they've actually got 4 times more of the contacts than they originally had. So there are a lot of contacts, let's say, of the employment team or the conveyancing team that have now appeared. And they can add those people onto mailing lists to keep them up to date with employment issues or whatever I say, conveyancing issues. Okay? And they've got a massive visibility of who knows who. Now, to be fair, we haven't limited what's been added into the systems, but 25% of their database, they now know who knows that. More than two lawyers know them. It's about 90% of the database are now known. So of course, you get people on mailing lists that are just there, nobody knows them. So it's starting to build up a picture for them, and they haven't actually lift a finger and do anything to actually get that information. And of course, they can see who's corresponding with who, because they can see who's been emailing who's coming onto events and things like that. Oh, I've got a Q&A. Okay, please talk about the integration to Outlook. Okay, I will do that at the end. So we redesigned Promptr around lawyers, rather than buying a sales system and putting it into law firms and making the lawyers use it, because they just don't. I've been around these systems for so long, nearly 30 years, that if lawyers were going to use CRM systems that have done it by now, and they don't, you get about 25, if you're really lucky, 40, 50% of your firm using these big, complex systems. So we just tried to work around it completely. So lawyers don't want to use yet another database. So we have linked it to Outlook. You access it from Outlook. It tracks Outlook. So there was the question, how does it link with Outlook? It tracks your exchange, and it just monitors if you are emailing an external contact. If they're not in the system, it adds them. If you are in the system, it adds that lawyer as knowing that person. And then it slowly builds up. So if 3 of you email the same person, 3 people are listed as knowing the same contact. It also has a lot of inbox alerts, because what we're not here for is to make the lawyers go into a database, learn how to use it, search it, filter it, and look for information that may or not be there. So relevant information pops into their inbox. They don't have to lift a finger. So as basics, they get a weekly alert on all the things that happen to their contacts. and that's generated automatically, and who they know is automatically generated as well. Going back to the question on Outlook integration, when we first start Promptr, we take all your mimecast, three months or 6 months of who's been emailing who. So we put that into the system as well. And so you start running rather than there's absolutely nothing in it. So all the lawyers for the last 3 or 6 months activity has been added into the system as well. Okay. So I hope that answers the Outlook question. If it doesn't, just drop me a note at the end. Okay. So second point, lawyers won't use it if their contacts are missing. Big databases or old databases as well. When a lawyer used to come back to me, when I was at Pinson's many years ago, and again, well, my contacts aren't in it. And I said, well, nobody knows them apart from you, so you're the best person to add them. Now, of course, it's all automated. It's like magic. They email a person and they can turn out 5 minutes later and look in the Promptr CRM system and their contact's there. So that's what lawyers don't want, but lawyers do want to understand relationships, but they just don't want to put any effort in to get there because everybody wants the end result and then nobody really wants to do admin. Really. Everyone wants a tidy house, but no one wants to clean it. So we pull together everything automatically, Outlook correspondence, event bookings, mail shot clicks, anything like that at all, and show it all for the lawyer, either in their inbox or if they want to go and delve into a light touch reporting tool, they can. We've also redesigned it around support. Now, we're always hearing, well, we'd love this, but I don't think there's capacity in the IT team to actually have another project. So we worked around it. We just provide you a code, and as long as you put that code in and put some permissions onto it, it feeds our system, and then we look after it. We onboard the users, we add the users, we train them, and we support their user queries. Okay. Now, with databases, they're only as good as the data in them. So if you buy a normal database, you've got to work out what to do with the data and how to update it and how to merge duplicates and things like that. So it's one of those things that we do for you. If you imagine asking a lawyer to update the details, one of the bits of feedback before was updating it isn't a 400 per hour job. Too right, it's not. The lawyer is never going to do it, and you don't want them to be updating the database. Yeah, you want them to be doing client work or doing BD, or at least logging that they've had a coffee with someone. Okay. Secretaries and PAs, you might say, look, 10% of your job's doing that. They're never going to get around to it because at the end of appraisal year, when you go, well, how did you get on? They're going to say, well, you asked me to do client work and things like that. That was far more important. And if you give the data updating job to a marketing assistant or whoever, it's going to be the worst part of their job. They probably didn't join a marketing team to go update databases. Yep. So we've taken a lot of that off your hands. Okay, we merge duplicates, we tidy up the details, we recommend these contacts might want to be flagged as follow-ups or for deletion, anything like that at all. Now, the big part of law firm marketing, and I started off in events 30 years ago, is events. Okay. The vast majority of databases, they don't have an event management tool, they don't have a calendar or anything like that. So we just built one in. It was much easier to do than you think. So we've got an event calendar. It's got an event module, so you can see easily who's coming to what. The event calendar, of course, you can put your events in, or you can put external ones. So maybe you've got your marketing team have got an Excel spreadsheet of the local chambers events, or the accountants, or the IFAs, or the property professionals, their networking events. You can pull it all into Promptr. Everybody can access it from one bit. And of course, it says what it does on the tin. Promptr, it triggers emails. So if you know a contact and they're booked onto an event, you'll get told about it. If you're one of the hosts at your event, you get an event pack to say, this is who's coming, this is who knows them. And afterwards, it's who did you meet? What did you discuss? And things like that. I've had a number of questions pop in. A minute. I will answer those at the end. There are quite a few questions. Hang on a minute. Thank you for those. Okay, so that's redesigning CRM around the lawyers, around marketing and support and IT. Okay. So a quick screenshot of the interface of Promptr. So on the left of your screen is the Outlook toolbar. And it hasn't got hundreds and hundreds of buttons. It's got about 2 that are ever going to be needed. There's an add note, because we don't call it add BD, because a lot of lawyers don't do BD. You've only got a few rainmakers in your firm. A lot of them are terrified about it. Yep. So just add a note. That's what's happened. it revolves around who you've clicked on in your inbox, just like anything else. Okay, you've got a summary of what's been going on with them. So whether it's Outlook correspondence or someone's gone for a coffee or you've put them on a pipeline, you can see that on your screen. You can see who knows them. And then there's a big grey button that takes you to a canned report, sort of very, very simple interface. And that's the right-hand image. And this is what the lawyers see. They either see the Outlook toolbar or the interface. And it's split up into sections. Okay. Now, Promptr's probably it's the only system I've ever seen that sort of tries to gamify usage. So at the top right, you've got BD leaderboard. Why not? It works quite well in some of my clients. We've done some additional reporting onto the sides of systems. And it just allows people to have a bit of fun. So the employment department, the percentage of lawyers is 40% adding BD in the last 6 months, but the conveyancing team is 70%. Well done, the conveyancing team. Stuff like that. The best way of getting people to log that they've had a coffee with anybody in the system, and this is from past experience, is yes, you can do various carrots and stick approaches. The best one by far is on the left-hand side of this is expense claims. You can't claim your expenses without putting a note in the system about why you need the taxi fare refund or the train fare or the tube or the sandwiches, for example, or the mileage. We just try and make it easy to support them. Okay. Just most systems just don't have this as a clickable button. Go one click, choose it, done, print, or save it. Yep, the whole thing's based on that. Much like the events. Okay, it's just an event module. Very easy for people to see what's going on or who went to them, and a quicker snapshot of what's going on in the event. So before I get to that, I'm going to have a look at some of the questions. Please talk about the integration to Outlook. I hope that's been done. Can we control what contacts go in? Yes, you can. So we've got various rules. I'll just minimize that in case that's on your screen and you've got someone's questions. So the Outlook tracker, we can say we don't want Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, or all that sort of stuff. We get rid of the alerts app, notifications app anyway. So you can have just your business to business contacts. So if you work with Barclays Bank or one of the big property estate agents, Savills, for example, you just say, right, it's all in there, but we don't want the ones with Hotmail because we know full well, much like me, we use our work email to email our mum and dad. Okay, just one of those things. Even if you've got private clients, based on experience with current Promptr clients, I wouldn't suggest you track the Hotmail and Yahoo's and Gmail accounts. It fills it up very, very quickly, and they're not hugely going to give you a massive amount of extra work. Okay, let's have a few more questions. Mimecast, what about the integration to case management? Okay, so there is no integration to case management. It's got APIs and it can all be done. There are so many around. It's a matter of putting information out, putting it into Promptr, and we could sort that out for you. Can it integrate with other systems? So it won't integrate with the PMS systems, or it's got an API, so it could. But MailChimp, if you wanted to send your emails out, yes. 6 months going back for Mimecast, I presume. If you can go back further and you buy Promptr, we will just integrate that. So you could go back for 3 years if you wanted. We've got all the contacts. We'll just put them in for you so that you really hit the ground running. Okay. Will you be showing a demo? Not on this session. Get in touch with me. I wouldn't want to bore everyone if they didn't want a demo. Get in touch with me and we'll have a 15, 30 minute, 45 minute demo. Adding the permissions, yeah, we can sort that out. It's all automatic. Yep, it's not a problem. We can cut things down so that all staff don't see everything. Okay, so for example, if I show you on the screen, the bottom right icons, the usage and the system admin, most of the users can't see that. Your marketing BD team can. So you can see who's doing what, and you can do, you can play around with the data and have a full overview of what that's going on. Okay. Will it integrate with HubSpot? It has an API. You could if you wanted to. All these extra things are just in IT words. The IT people can just do anything you want. Okay. Once a firm says yes, you want to buy, how long does it take to set up? Oh, so once you've signed the contract, let's say, so thank you for that, whoever that, I didn't actually see the names of this. It would be about a month. Okay, so you sign up, you give us all your data, you give us your Mimecast information, you give us your event lists of who used to attend. We will sort it all out. We'll give it back to you to double check. We'll show you the duplications that we couldn't merge because John Smith is at 2 companies and we don't know the right one, but you will. And then you're ready to go. Okay. And last slide, that's about me, but I'm going to leave you with this slide, which is the whole point of Promptr is that it's effortless for you. It's effortless for the marketing team, the BD, the IT, the lawyers, and the secretaries. We manage it all for you. We treat it as a bit like when I was a consultant to law firms and I've been doing absolutely everything for them. This is what we're doing now. Okay. And for LawNet members, we're offering a limited time 3-month free trial and a 20% discount if you're a LawNet member, which I think everyone will be on this call. To find out more for a demo, just please get in touch. I will send you these slides and a recording of this video when I've tidied it up, so it won't be in like 20 minutes. And you'll have all the contact details from me from there. Just double checking the Q&As. There are no others, but please get in touch if you just want to go over anything again. I don't understand that bit, or do all systems do this, or how does it work if we do that with you? Not a problem at all. We're here to help. Now, that was a quick run through. The whole point of Promptr is it makes it easy for you. You don't have to be a database expert to get the best from a CRM system, because we are. Thank you very much for your time. I hope that quick whistle-stop tour of how we make it easier for you helped. Please get in touch if you'd like more information. Thank you.